North Carolina is often said to be the hardest state to get a real estate license in. But why? We pretty much do the same thing every other state does. I'm not quite sure why it's actually so hard. But in this video, we're going to go over what you need to do to get your real estate license. I've done it before, and it was an excruciating process, but we got through it. Before we get into it, I'd like you to like the video, comment on the video, and subscribe to my channel. We're going to be pushing out some more real estate content as the time goes on, so be ready for more. Also, let me know what you'd like to see. I don't know quite what direction I want to go with this channel yet, if I want to pertain to more agents or in general audiences like clientele. So without further ado, how do you get your real estate license in North Carolina? The first thing you're going to do is you're going to have to take a real estate licensing class. This is a 75-hour course. The problem with North Carolina is that you have to do it in person. You cannot take online classes in North Carolina for real estate. Most other states are going to let you take it online, but North Carolina is one of the very few that do not. So that means you have to go ahead and find a school. There's a lot of real estate schools scattered throughout North Carolina. Sometimes the local college might offer the classes, but these classes are usually going to run for about $500. I'm not sure if the price is always $500 for every school. At least for mine, I know it was. I know some other places are probably different because it's based on the class itself. Well, yes, it is the same material. Different classes run at different rates as far as I know. Moving on, once you're in that class, you're going to get a really, really big book. It looks like this. It's Modern Real Estate Practice in North Carolina. This book, I've read the whole thing. I've highlighted just about all of it. As you can see, it's nice and marked up. Depending on your learning style is how you're going to pass the class, obviously. I'm more of a reader. I have to read this stuff to really understand it. Some people are more vocal based. They learn from the teacher. I had a good teacher, but I didn't learn from her. So do what you got to do. What I did was I took classes every Tuesday and Thursday for 8 hours because I was on the accelerated class schedule. And I would leave class, go straight to Starbucks, start kicking through this thing, reviewing whatever we did throughout the day. And I would probably be at Starbucks studying at least 5 days of the week. It's a very, very intense course. It's very, very difficult. The type of material you have in here is, you know, stuff that you're never going to deal with in real estate, like, at all. But you still got to know everything. You have to know the law, finances, the actual real estate, the agency contracts are the most important. And you'll understand once you take the classes. Not for the faint of heart. So at some point during your class, you're going to end up taking a class test. My class had a midterm. I'm not sure if yours is going to have a midterm, but you have a class test to pass the class. In my school, we had 2 shots at this. We had to pass it with about 75%. And there's a national and there's a state section. Now, this is the part where you can fail the state test and still pass the national side, and you're good to go. You just have to get a cumulative score of 75 on this test, and then you're ready to pass and go into the PSI exam, which is our next thing, the national exam. Once you pass the class test, you're gonna have to apply and pay for testing on the national level, which is the PSI exam. The fee to apply for a real estate license is $100 to the North Carolina Real Estate Commission, and then it's a $64 fee to take the test. Now, you can take this test in-state, out-of-state, it doesn't matter. It's a national distributed service. Now, when you apply for a real estate license here in North Carolina, they're going to do a background check. Usually, this is going to process within 2 to 5 days. That's what I've seen. And then you're good to go. You're going to have the PSI exam for whatever you picked. Usually it's 10 days out from whenever you applied for the license, so get ready for that. Study, study, study. My biggest tips, and this is really important, hear me out, okay? So you have a national exam and then a state exam. You have to pass both. You can't get one or the other. If you pass the national exam on your first try, then you never have to take that again. But if you happen to fail the state test, you have to come back and take the state test, and vice versa. So don't screw this up, because when you fail, it doesn't matter if it's both sides of the test or just one. You still have to pay $160 per time you test, because the application fee renews and then your fee for the exam renews. So my biggest tip is to really focus on state material. The national exam, you've worked so long on focusing on the general aspects of the national exam, which is liens and encumbrances, estate law, mortgages, financing, all these different things you've done throughout the class, and that's what you focused on. So you're gonna know that better. The state exam, the problem with it is that it's so intricate. I've had questions where they've asked me, you know, things that are both correct, but you have to pick the one that's more correct. And I can't say what that question was, otherwise someone's gonna flag me and revoke my license. but it's really bad. The things that you need to lock down are the mineral and oil gas disclosure statement. So get that like in your head solid. The RPO's residential property disclosure statement, get that in your head. Understand agency contracts and everything about it, dual agency, designated agency. Understand the tier levels, so firm, broker, agent, difference between a provisional broker and a full broker. Understand the roles and the duties of a broker in charge. Know all of the things that apply to the state of North Carolina, because trust me, it will get you if you don't. Take it from me, because I actually passed the national exam on my first try, but I failed the state exam by one question. I had 28 out of 40. I needed to get 29 out of 40. On a state test, you have to get 57 out of 80. So I had to pay another $160 to go and take another state test. And guess what? I failed it by one question again. So then I had to pay another $160 to take a stupid 40 question test, and I passed it. They don't tell you what you passed it by, but from the moment where I failed the first state exam all the way to when I finally passed it, it was about 22 days. So really know your stuff, because otherwise you get so far behind and your budget shrinkens by about $500 if you keep failing. So don't fail by one question. Once you pass the national and state exam, give yourself a pat on the back, because it's one of the hardest exams I've ever taken. Now you just wait for your license to come in the mail. So it took about 4 days from my pass date for it to come in the mail. Now I did call the North Carolina Real Estate Commission to rush them, but I got it 4 days after passing my test, and I was super happy. It said my name with real estate broker under my license number. Now the thing is, you're on a provisional license, so you still have some education requirements down the line, but don't worry about that now. The next thing you need to do is join the firm. Now, I'm not going to tell you what brokerage to join. Personally, I don't care. Some go for EXP, some go for KW, some go for Coldwell Banker and Realty One and Century 21. Do whatever works for you. Most of them are the exact same. I'm just going to be honest. Most of them are the exact same. EXP is probably the most different because it's more digital based in terms of everything is online. You don't have an actual place to go as your office. At the moment, I'm with Keller Williams, but the reason why is because Keller Williams gives you the opportunity to brand yourself under their name. So my company is Barry Properties, but I am an affiliate of Keller Williams. But because I'm able to brand myself, I get to look like my own brokerage. I'm not, but it looks like it, and it's nice. So join the firm, get started. You're gonna have to join the MLS, which depending on which one you're going to is gonna be a completely different process. Mine is Canopy MLS, which covers Charlotte to Asheville, but yours is gonna be different. Anyways, that's how you get a license in North Carolina for real estate. Let me know what you think about it. If you have any questions about it, please let me know. I've failed miserably twice before by one question. So I have felt the pain and the heartache. I've passed it before. I know what to do, and I would be happy to help you. Plus, I have actual real estate experience now, so I can let you know what you're actually getting into. It's not a pretty industry. There's a lot of hard work involved, especially starting out. I highly recommend having a lot of money saved up. I would say at least $5,000. I didn't, so trust me, like I do what I don't do. But if you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, share, and I will see you in the next one. Please let me know, what do you guys want to see? I need some suggestions. All right, bye.